Folks, not every reno needs to be a complete gut. I'll get into that in the latest home prices and insights for York Region for week ending April 17th, 2024. The first home I owned was a townhouse. It had an unfinished basement, and at some point I figured we could really use a full bathroom in this townhouse, an extra full bathroom in the unfinished basement. So I called a contractor. I said, "Sir, please come over, quote putting a full bathroom in my unfinished basement." And we were down there and he's looking and he's giving me a price, but he says, while I'm here, do you have plans on finishing the whole basement one day? Because while I'm here, I could quote on that. And I said, sure, I want to finish the whole basement. Budget was a bit of an issue, but while you're here, go ahead, quote. I'm curious as to what it would cost. So he quoted the whole basement, and I decided, since I'm putting the bathroom in, it made sense at the time to finish the rest of the basement. But it was just a simple room. And while we were getting into that and quoted, he says, well, do you want a kitchen down here? This way, you got maybe 2 parties down here. Do you want a bar, this and that? And I thought about it, and I thought, yeah, you know what? Would be convenient to have another small kitchen in the basement for when we're entertaining down there, watching movies, the man cave, we don't have to go upstairs and all that. So what started off as, I just need an extra bathroom, turned out to be a full basement being done with a kitchen. It was a great basement, but I went way over budget and somehow I got caught up in the whole thing. I'm telling you that story because I'm going to tell you this other story. A couple of years back, I helped this young couple buy a property. And when we bought this property, they were telling me their plan. The home did need some updates, but they were telling me their plan that year 1, they were going to address and work on all the bathrooms. Year 2, they were going to update the kitchen. And year 3, they were going to do all the floors throughout the house. And year 4, year 5, they had plans over the first 4 or 5 years. And I thought, wow, these guys are organized, good for them. About a year and a half after they purchased, and we spoke a few times along the way, but we became friends also along the way. They invited my wife and I over for dinner. So we're there, and as I walk into the house, I don't even recognize it. Everything had been changed in this house. It was a completely renovated, top to bottom, everything. And they're walking me through and showing me their pride. They're excited. And we're sitting there and we're talking over dinner, having a few drinks and laughing about the whole thing. And I'm like, guys, what happened? You had this plan of year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. You guys are so organized with that. I actually spoke about you guys to some of my other clients that wanted to blow the budget and do everything right away. And I said, no, working with these clients and they got it right and they're planning it out. What happened? And they said, well, we invited the guy that was going to quote us on the bathrooms. And he said, while I'm doing the bathrooms, do you got plans on doing anything else I could quote while I'm here? So we told him that, each year we wanted to do one thing and told him what we wanted to do eventually. So he quoted on everything and we just said, do it. And we figured out the budget, how we could make it all work, and we got everything done. And we had a good laugh over that, but they're in a position where they could do it. They got great jobs. They're comfortable. But I know other people, I got caught up in this, and I know there's other people that get caught up in, I'm just going to do this, and then it's this. Think about it, the excitement, the enthusiasm, have everything done and not having to wait multiple years to have the house the way you want it. That's exciting. And if there's somehow, some way, through some sort of organization, you can get it all done right now, that's attractive for a lot of people. And then many people get themselves in trouble that way. My advice to my clients that we were visiting for dinner was, this is wonderful. I'm glad you could do it. My only advice is, do not plan on selling in short order. Stay here for a while. Enjoy what you've done. You'll get the value later. But if right now, after spending all this money, your plan is to sell quickly or in a short period of time, you're not going to recover your money. Now, I know what all the TV programs and all the shows, the reno shows, and you do this and it'll increase the value by that much. You spend $20,000 on bathrooms and someone will pay you $40,000 for it later. It's just not true, at least not in the GTA. Very few renos actually get you more money immediately right away. So be careful about that. I see it all the time. People invite me for their home. Yeah, we just did all these changes. Now we want to sell. And when we talk about sale price, they're saying, but we just did all this work. And I say, yeah, but this is what your home with all that work is actually selling for right now. And it's sad, but they're not recovering what they spent. So if you're going to do all that and you got the means to do all that, knock yourself out. Be careful. It's so easy to get carried away, but stay, enjoy it. Flipping it, selling it right away. We don't have the market in the GTA for you to realize a profit with that right now. If you think this video can help somebody you know, pass it along. If you get value from what we're talking about, subscribe. And if you want to speak with me about your real estate situation, really simple. Up here, there's a link to my calendar. Below this video in the description, there's a link to my calendar. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you. We'll talk about whatever's on your mind. Now, let's get into the numbers. Folks, before we get into the numbers, I got to say, if you've been following us for a few years, you know every year, come playoff time, it's go Leafs go. Got to show my support. Let's get started. We're talking about York Region, detached properties only, and we're going to break York Region down to 3 main cities, Richmond Hill, Markham, and Vaughan. Vaughan, all of a sudden, is way down here. Doesn't want to play with Richmond Hill and Markham when it comes to prices. But we're going to start off with Vaughan. Average sold price sitting at $1,652,000. It's come way down from just 2 weeks ago when we were sitting as high as 1.9. 38 detached properties were sold for week ending April 17th. 7 of those were at $2 million or more, which is also a big drop from what we did the previous week of 11. So amount of property selling at $2 million or more came down. Sales stayed the same. And if we kind of look back over the last 2 months or so, the high weeks are 38, 39, and 40. So for now, I'm going to say, hey, you know, 38, it's a pretty decent week when it comes to sales volume. Average sold price lower than what we've seen just about any other time of the year right now. Compared to last year, 1652 is 7% lower than where we were a year ago. The median price is also 7% lower. When we look at the dotted line, that's the 4-week moving average. It's showing that prices are, it takes into account the peaks and the valleys, and it's kind of showing that prices are pretty flat over the last 2.5, 3 months. 38 were sold, but half, 50% sold at list price or more, which kind of tells a different picture that prices are coming down. 50%, the market's somewhat competitive. 84 were listed. Active listing is trending up, but slightly, not by a lot. And months of inventory up a little bit, sitting at 1.9 months of inventory. So what do I take away from this? Look, 1.9 months of inventory. We've not been up over 3 months. We had the 1 week here. That was the Easter, so that doesn't count. We've been pretty much well below the 3 months of inventory. We've been sitting in a kind of an even seller's market situation when it comes to detached properties in Vaughan. And that's why average sold price has either kind of been flat. Although, you look at weekly, it goes up and down. But overall, it's been pretty steady. And that's because of the low months of inventory. There's just not enough properties on the market. And the buyers are buying what's there and still kind of competing on at least half the properties that are out there. Here's Richmond Hill. 24 detached properties were sold. And when we look at that number, similar to Vaughan, 24 kind of seems, as far as the bigger weeks go, 27, 25, 23, seems like a decent week right now at the current pace that we're at for Richmond Hill when it comes to volume. 10 of those were at $2 million or more. Average sold price came down over the previous week to $1,944,000. Richmond Hill, especially because of these peaks and valleys, is also difficult to read, and you got to look at the different price points. Compared to last year, 1944 is 3% lower than where we were this time a year ago. The median price, way different, 15% lower year over year. The dotted line, the 4-week moving average, a little bit all over the place. I don't think prices have changed that much in Richmond Hill. The lower price points for the detached, what we'll call the entry-level detached, the lower price points, extremely competitive. The higher price points, those are the ones taking more of the beating when it comes to price. 24 were sold, 54% sold at list price or more. Lots of listings. 78 detached properties were listed across Richmond Hill. Active listings has increased to 292. Just for contrast, this time last year, active listings was 133. So big difference, 133 to 292. 2.8 is the months of inventory. Creeping up to the balanced market, but still top end of a seller's market. Here's Markham. 36 detached properties were sold. It's as far as volume goes, the best week we've had quantity-wise this whole year so far. So 36 were sold. Also the best week for properties selling at $2 million or more, when 13 sold at $2 million or more. 13, 36 is a high percentage selling at $2 million or more. Average sold price shot up to $1,921,000. So where the other cities, Vaughan, Richmond Hill, prices may be kind of coming down, Markham went the other way to $1,921,000, which is 8% higher than where we were this time a year ago. The median price is 1% lower. 36 were sold, 72% sold at list price or more. It was a very competitive week when it comes to fighting over properties. 70 were listed. Active listings is 243. This time a year ago was 114. It's more than doubled. Months of inventory has come down to 1.6 months of inventory. Here's a quick summary. You're going to find there's pockets that are going to be seller's market, that are going to be extremely competitive. You're going to find other pockets that properties are sitting out there and you've got some time to think about it. It's more of a balanced market. Not too many situations where there's a buyer's market. Now, some people can be confused because you're going to see a property and it's dropping its price and not selling, and you're going to think, oh, it's a buyer's market. No, that was just a property that was priced the wrong way. It's not a desirable property, and the property and the price are not matching. But you match that up and you follow up with good marketing, you'll sell your property. And we've got the stats here that shows properties are being sold, and a high percentage are being sold at list price or more. Thanks for watching. Go Leafs go.